it's your boy Dre back at you with another video. Before we actually even get started with the video, if I'm talking too low, it's because it's like 3 in the morning here right now. I can't sleep, so I'm just like, hey, why not go ahead and record a video? Furthermore, first off, I want to apologize for not posting anything last week. Last week was a heck of a week for me. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you see I took in a new snake. So I've been dealing with that. It's a common boa, Central American boa, whatever you like to call it. However, when I got the snake here, that's when I realized he had a pretty bad case of RI, or respiratory infection. So I've been dealing with that. I got a vet visit coming up this week, and then I've been preparing a new enclosure for him. He came in a 40 breeder, which is a 3-foot enclosure. Like I said, he's a 6-foot snake, so I've been dealing with that. And in addition to that, just been working. I'm also working on some more YouTube content. I got 4 snakes that need upgrades, so I've been just trying to get that done, get that together. So I've just been busy. So I apologize for that. But anyways, let's skip right off through that. And today I just kind of wanted to talk about basically cost, reptile cost. How much does it cost to keep reptiles? So I'm just basically gonna talk about it on kind of like a basic level. How much it costs to like get started, your basic setups, what you need, and everything like that. And then I'll kind of delve deeper and throw some different scenarios in there. So first, I'll basically start off with, just a basic reptile setup. You're gonna need your enclosure, whether it be tank, tub, or whether you get a custom enclosure. You're gonna need your substrate, and you're gonna need your lighting, your water dish, and if your reptile requires a food dish. But your basic needs are gonna definitely be your enclosure, your substrate, your lighting, water dish, and a hide. Most reptiles do require hides. But if we're talking like a basic setup for, let's say, like a leopard gecko, you can get like a decent size enclosure. A lot of people like to go for 20 longs. That's what I keep my leopard gecko in. So 20 long usually costs right around, don't quote me on it, but I want to say right around like 30 to 40 bucks. And then depending on what substrate you use, quick disclaimer, just don't use sand or any loose substrate for that matter. Mine is on Repti carpet, which for 20 long, you can get, it's like 20 bucks. And then she also has her water dish. She has a human hide. That's something I made myself. And then she has like a log in there that she can climb on. And then obviously gecko herself. So I can't really give an exact price. The prices are gonna vary, especially like I said, with me, I keep multiple reptiles, so my prices are generally up there. Even a basic British Dragon setup, you got your tank, your lighting, which they're gonna need. Unlike leopard geckos are not diurnal, they're nocturnal, so they don't necessarily require UVB. The British Dragon, however, is a diurnal reptile, meaning they bask. They come out in the daytime and bask under the sun, so they're going to need basking and UVB. UVB is generally going to be the most expensive of the two. I've seen it as cheap as like $25, but also I've seen it as expensive as like $45. And then your basking light, depending on how big your lizard is, how big the tank is, and then I kind of depict on what size bulb you should get. Obviously, the different size bulbs, the bigger the wattage, the more expensive they are. You can kind of cut that in half if you use just basically a vapor bulb, which supplies your heat source and your UVB, and I believe UVA as well. Those cost right around like 40 to 45 bucks. So prices vary depending on the reptile, depending on the setup, and also depending on what you choose choose to put in it. Never should you buy a reptile based on if you can afford it at that moment. What I mean by that is if you have a monitor lizard that's this big currently, so you can fit him in a 10-gallon. He doesn't require a lot. You get him his basking and his UVB, and you get him a nice little setup. And the setup may only cost you $75. The monitor may only have cost you like $140. Chances are that monitor is going to get big. So if you can't prepare to keep that monitor when he's 4 and 5 feet long, it's probably not the best financial option for you. Obviously, any animal, for the most part, as they grow, is going to get more expensive. I have 7 snakes, so I would say, and out of the 7, 5 of my snakes eat weekly, and I do frozen, so I would say right around monthly on just frozen mice and rats. I'm usually somewhere right around $250 to $300 range. That's to feed my snakes for, that's generally to feed them, a couple months. I like to buy in bulk, buy in advance. That way it's not something I have to consistently do. So if I'm buying mice or rats, I'm usually buying enough supply for 2 to 3 months, which is definitely something, if you're going to keep a lot of reptiles, it's definitely something you should look into because it's very cost effective. I feel like in general keeping reptiles can be very costly. However, if you make smart decisions and plan it out right, it can be very cost effective as well. When it comes to enclosures, you have quite a bit of options. Tank, tub, custom enclosure, or you could even build your own enclosure, which will probably be the cheapest route if you are handy. The snake rack you see behind me is something that I built. It was kind of, I saw something online. I saw a rack online. The rack, it was a 5-slot 28 quart rack. I saw a rack online, basically like almost identical to this, and that rack went for like $450. Now, I'm not spending that on a rack when I'm fully capable, as you can see, of building one myself. So that's an example of what I mean by cost effective. If you know it's something that you can do yourself, then do that. But there is a big difference between being cost effective and being cheap. If you know that an animal is gonna get large, don't get an animal and put it in an enclosure that you know isn't gonna support it for its life. I mean, what's the point of that? Plan ahead, get in an enclosure that is gonna be able to hold that animal. If you can't support that animal full grown, then don't get it. Don't get a bearded dragon and keep it in a 10-gallon all its life. I mean, obviously, bearded dragons get usually 18 inches to 24 inches, and that varies depending on nowadays what morphs and bloodlines and male and female. It's gonna vary. So, I guess the general question a lot of people want to ask is keeping reptiles expensive? And yes, it is very expensive. To my experience, I can seriously vouch for it. Like I said, I have 7 snakes. I have 3 lizards, a tarantula, and a scorpion. So yes, it's very expensive. But there are ways around that. How do you, pay for things? How do you keep up with it? For me, I work. I enjoy the hobby. I enjoy the animals. So I'm gonna work as much as I can just to make sure that I can provide for these animals and they're healthy and they're safe. Obviously, you get a dog or a cat, you're gonna do everything you can to provide for them. Or just like a dog or a cat, these animals just as well deserve to go to the vet, which can be costly as well. So I think that's something a lot of people don't take into consideration, or they'll wait until something's wrong to try to fix it. And with reptiles, a lot of the times if you wait too long and then try to fix it, it's too late. Reptiles, they can't physically let us know like a dog or a cat can that something's wrong. So it's kind of something you have to be on your P's and Q's about and make sure that you're monitoring, you have the right setup, you spent the money on the right setup, you've put the money into everything that they need to keep the animal. So with that being said, I mean, just make sure it's an animal you can afford, whether it's a snake, a lizard, I mean, hell, if it's a cat or a dog, fish tank, whatever, make sure you can afford it. Nothing is cheap, to be honest. I mean, you're not gonna go to a breeder and a breeder is gonna give you just a free animal. I mean, unless obviously it's like a giveaway or something, but in general, for the sake of this video, we're gonna say that just doesn't happen. So I feel like if you can buy an animal, make sure you're putting just as much money into the enclosure as you are into the animal, because otherwise it just doesn't make sense. Why pay $200, $300 for a snake and then only want to spend $50 on an enclosure, and then you have issues with the snake not eating or anything of that nature? Put the money into it and you want, I mean, literally what you put in is what you get out. So keeping reptiles, it's fun, I mean, but it can be expensive. It is expensive once you factor in, like I said, the enclosure, the lighting, the substrate, the decorations, and that's just the initial finances. Then you got to look at the monthly cost, the feeding of it, the vet bills, the electric bills. A lot of people look over that. I mean, if they're requiring heat sources, you got to plug it in somewhere. So electric is obviously something you have to look into as well. So I mean, those are just like the basic topics. I mean, unfortunately, I'm sorry I couldn't give, I can't give like an exact price. I mean, I know kind of prices for what I keep. On average, like I said, on my reptiles a month altogether, I'm probably spending, I haven't fully calculated it, but mentally, I'm probably spending anywhere right around $350 to probably like $400. But I mean, like I said, it's spread out, it's cost effective, so it's not like it's really hitting my pockets too hard. I kind of spread everything out, and that way everybody's happy, I'm happy, the bank account's happy. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. And then I'm also, like I said at the beginning of the video, doing some upgrades, so be on the lookout for those videos. If you like this video or have any questions, drop a comment, make sure you hit that notification bell, and don't forget to like the video. And as always, I appreciate you watching.